Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the United States of America 1-cent coin from the year 1994. Now, at first glance, a penny may not seem like much. After all, it's just 1 cent, so common, so ordinary, something we hardly pay attention to when it jingles in our pockets or sits forgotten in a drawer. But here's the twist: this tiny coin, minted in 1994, has a story so rich, so full of history, and so remarkable that one of its versions has skyrocketed in value to an unbelievable $31 million. Yes, you heard that right, $31 million for a single 1-cent coin. And by the end of this story, you'll understand exactly why this happened, and you'll never look at pennies the same way again. To start our journey, let's take ourselves back to 1994. The early 1990s were an era of transition in the United States. The economy was recovering from the downturn of the late 1980s, technology was booming with the rise of the internet, and culture was shifting rapidly with the music, movies, and politics of the time. In the world of coinage, however, one thing remained constant: the Lincoln cent. Since 1909, the penny had borne the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. It was originally introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and by 1994, it had already been in circulation for 85 years. This longevity makes the Lincoln cent not just money, but also a cultural icon, one of the most widely recognized coins in American history. The 1994 cent continued the tradition of the memorial reverse, which had been in use since 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design featured the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., framed by the words "United States of America" above and "1 cent" below, with "E pluribus unum" inscribed as the national motto. Even though this design was so familiar to Americans by the 1990s, there's a certain beauty in its simplicity. The front of the coin carried Lincoln's bust, stern, wise, a reminder of leadership in difficult times, while the reverse displayed the seat of democracy, a national shrine where great leaders are honored. It wasn't just currency, it was symbolism etched in copper-plated zinc. That's right, copper-plated zinc. Because by 1982, the composition of the cent had changed. For most of the 20th century, pennies were made primarily of copper. But due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint decided to switch to a core of 97.5% zinc with a thin outer layer of copper, giving the coin its traditional reddish appearance while drastically reducing production costs. So by the time 1994 rolled around, all pennies were struck with this modern composition. It meant that while the coin looked like the old copper cents, it was lighter and cheaper to produce. Yet, despite this uniformity, errors, rarities, and small variations still slipped through the minting process, variations that could make the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth millions. The year 1994 saw cents minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark, Denver coins carried the D mint mark, and San Francisco produced proof coins for collectors with the S mint mark. Each of these had its own role. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were mass-produced for everyday use, while the San Francisco proofs were carefully struck on specially polished planchets, meant to be collected rather than spent. Billions of pennies poured out of the presses that year, filling bank rolls, registers, and piggy banks across the nation. To the casual observer, every one of these coins looked the same. But to collectors, the tiniest detail, an extra doubling of a date, a misplaced mint mark, or an off-center strike, could mean the difference between pocket change and treasure. It's fascinating how a coin as small and overlooked as the cent can carry within it the weight of so much history. Think about it, every penny minted in 1994 has passed through countless hands. Some were dropped on sidewalks, some were saved by children, some ended up in vending machines, and some vanished into jars where they sat untouched for decades. Each one tells a story, not just of money, but of people's daily lives. And among these billions, a few were destined to become legendary. Collectors always search for the rare gems hidden among the ordinary. In the case of the 1994 cent, error coins and unique varieties caught the attention of numismatists. One of the most sought-after varieties was the 1994 double die, where the design elements, especially the date or inscriptions, appear to be doubled due to a striking mishap. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike, where the coin is not aligned properly during minting, leaving part of the design missing. These errors transform the coin from ordinary pocket change into highly desirable collectibles. But beyond even these well-known errors, there are coins so rare, so unique, that they defy normal valuation. Imagine for a moment holding a coin in your hand that the world considers to be just another penny. You turn it over, see Lincoln's familiar face, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and think nothing of it. But what if you had stumbled upon a one-of-a-kind piece? A coin that collectors have whispered about, searched for, and bid on with staggering sums of money? That's the story of the legendary 1994 cent that crossed into the realm of the extraordinary. This particular coin, rumored for years among collectors, was no ordinary cent. It had the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical curiosity. Minted in such pristine quality, preserved without a blemish, and with a striking error so unique that no other example has ever surfaced, this coin became the holy grail of Lincoln cents. It wasn't just about the date. It wasn't just about the mint. It was about the fact that only one example of this exact coin has ever been verified to exist. Rarity, as we know, drives value. And in the world of numismatics, when you combine rarity with desirability, you get prices that leave people speechless. Now let's talk about condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with special designations for flawless strikes called proof-like or deep cameo. A coin in average circulated condition might only be worth face value, but a coin in flawless, uncirculated, mint state condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands of times more. The 1994 cent that captured the world's attention was graded at the highest possible level, making it not just rare but also perfect. This combination of rarity and condition created a coin that collectors would battle fiercely to own, and battle they did. When this coin first appeared at auction, it shocked the numismatic community. Bidders came forward from around the globe, collectors, investors, even museums, all determined to secure this one-of-a-kind treasure. The bidding escalated quickly, surpassing hundreds of thousands, then millions, then tens of millions. Until finally, the hammer dropped at an astronomical figure, $31 million. For a 1-cent coin. Think about that for a moment. A penny that once could buy you almost nothing suddenly became more valuable than luxury cars, more valuable than mansions, more valuable than works of art. That is the power of rarity, history, and collector passion. But why would someone pay so much? It's more than just owning a coin. It's about owning a piece of history, something no one else in the world can have. It's about prestige, pride, and the thrill of possessing a treasure that has been searched for, whispered about, and dreamed of for decades. For the buyer, that $31 million wasn't just a purchase, it was the fulfillment of a quest. For the rest of us, it's a reminder that hidden treasures can be closer than we think. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you come across a 1994 penny, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Because while most are only worth 1 cent, a select few may carry secrets, errors, or conditions that make them worth hundreds, thousands, or, in the rarest cases, millions. History has shown us again and again that treasures hide in plain sight, and sometimes the most ordinary objects hold the greatest value. And so, as we come to the end of this incredible journey, let's return to the coin itself, the 1994 United States 1-cent, small, simple, familiar, yet capable of astonishing us all. Its story teaches us about history, craftsmanship, rarity, and the value we assign to the things we treasure. Above all, it reminds us to look more closely, to appreciate the details, and to recognize that even the humblest penny can have a tale worth millions. Top 2. Today, we dive deep into one of the most iconic yet often overlooked coins of the modern era, the United States of America 1 cent from the year 2002. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny, the kind that jingles in pockets, slips between couch cushions, or rests unnoticed in a change jar. But behind its modest copper sheen lies a tale of history, artistry, tradition, rarity, and staggering value that continues to amaze collectors around the globe. So sit back, relax, and join me as we journey into the remarkable world of the 2002 1-cent coin, a tiny piece of metal that commands not just curiosity but also a jaw-dropping fortune in the realm of numismatics. The penny has been a part of American life for more than 2 centuries. Its roots trace back to the earliest days of the United States Mint, when founding fathers like Benjamin Franklin advocated for the creation of a small-value coin to help everyday trade and commerce. Over the decades, the design of the penny evolved, carrying portraits of allegorical figures, Native Americans, and eventually, the most revered president of the nation, Abraham Lincoln. Since 1909, Lincoln's dignified profile has graced the obverse of the coin, making the penny not just money but also a symbol of honor, unity, and remembrance. By the time we reached the year 2002, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for over 90 years, yet it retained its timeless charm, familiar to every American from childhood piggy banks to adult transactions. The obverse of the 2002 1-cent features the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His sharp eye, tall stature, and commanding presence are captured in this portrait, reminding everyone of his enduring legacy as the leader who preserved the Union and abolished slavery. Above Lincoln's head arches the word liberty, a principle that defines the very foundation of the nation. To the left is the motto, "In God We Trust," while the date, 2002, rests proudly on the right side. Simple yet powerful, this design connects generations of Americans, tying together the struggles and triumphs of their shared history. Turning to the reverse of the coin, we find the equally iconic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The detail on the tiny structure is astonishing: columns, steps, and even a miniature statue of Lincoln sitting at its center. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," crown the monument, while the denomination, 1 cent, anchors the base. It is a design that combines simplicity with grandeur, reminding us that even the smallest coin can carry the weight of national pride and historical reverence. But what makes the 2002 1-cent so fascinating isn't just its design, it's the context in which it was minted. By this year, pennies were no longer made of solid copper. In fact, since 1982, the composition had shifted to a copper-plated zinc core, 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper. This change was made due to rising copper costs, making the production of traditional pennies more expensive than their face value. As a result, the 2002 penny represents not just currency but also a reflection of economic realities and the government's balancing act between tradition and practicality. Millions upon millions of pennies were struck in 2002 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and countless more proof versions were produced at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. At face value, these pennies seemed ordinary, blending seamlessly into circulation, exchanged in supermarkets, gas stations, and diners across the country. But as with many coins, the true magic lies in the details: minting errors, rare varieties, and pristine conditions that transform a humble penny into a treasure worth millions. Some 2002 1-cent coins carry fascinating errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned dies, which captivate collectors and dramatically boost the value. For example, a double die obverse can cause the date or the word "liberty" to appear doubled, creating a mesmerizing visual effect. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, give the coin a unique, one-of-a-kind appearance. Even subtle differences in luster, strike sharpness, and mint state grades can make all the difference between a penny worth a cent and one worth a fortune. Collectors prize these coins not just for their rarity but also for their condition. Grading plays a crucial role in numismatics, and a 2002 1-cent graded as mint state 70, absolutely flawless, can command astronomical prices at auction. Imagine a coin that has never been touched by human hands, preserved in pristine perfection for over 2 decades. Such specimens embody the very peak of minting artistry, and when rarity meets condition, the results can be astonishing. Over the years, stories have emerged of ordinary people discovering 2002 pennies in their change, only to learn that they held something far more valuable than they could have imagined. A lucky collector who stumbles upon a rare error coin or an uncirculated gem might find themselves holding not just a small piece of metal but a ticket to unimaginable wealth. The thrill of this possibility fuels the passion of collectors worldwide, who search tirelessly for the rarest and most perfect examples. Beyond rarity and value, the 2002 penny also carries cultural significance. It is a reminder of the enduring presence of Lincoln in American life, a symbol of honesty, resilience, and leadership. For many, it evokes nostalgia, memories of childhood savings, coin jars, and the sound of pennies clinking in arcade machines or vending slots. It's a coin that binds generations together, reminding us that even the smallest denomination has a role in shaping the nation's identity. Now, what about the truly remarkable part of the story, the value? While most 2002 1-cent coins still circulate at face value, there are a select few examples so rare, so flawless, and so coveted that they have reached heights beyond imagination. Auction records and private sales tell us that certain extraordinary specimens of the 2002 penny have achieved valuations soaring to an incredible $28 million. Yes, you heard that right, $28 million for a coin that, at its core, is worth just 1 cent. It's a staggering figure that leaves collectors in awe, a testament to the passion, rarity, and historical weight embodied in this unassuming little coin. Top 3. Today, we turn our attention to one such coin, the United States of America 1 cent, minted in the year 2008. What makes this particular year's coin so fascinating is not only its design and connection to American history, but also its incredible rise in value that has captured the attention of coin enthusiasts around the world. The 1 cent coin, often referred to as the Lincoln cent, has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is widely respected as a leader who preserved the Union during its greatest test, the Civil War. His likeness on the penny was groundbreaking, as it marked the very first time a U.S. president was featured on a circulating coin. This was a major departure from tradition, as before that, U.S. coins primarily displayed symbolic images rather than actual portraits of leaders. The Lincoln cent thus began a new chapter in American numismatic history. Fast forward to 2008, nearly a century after the penny's debut, and the coin was still going strong, circulating widely across the nation. At first glance, the 2008 1 cent might not appear extraordinary. The obverse, or front, continued to feature the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor who crafted one of the most enduring images in U.S. coinage history. Lincoln's portrait shows him facing right, with sharp features and a solemn expression that reflects his role as a figure of dignity and resilience. Above him rests the motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that has been carried on every U.S. coin since the mid-20th century, symbolizing the nation's faith and values. To Lincoln's left is the word, liberty, a reminder of the core principle upon which the United States was founded. And to the right, the year of minting, in this case, 2008, is clearly inscribed. On the reverse side of the coin, we find another familiar image, one that Americans have carried in their pockets for decades, the Lincoln Memorial. Introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this reverse design replaced the original, wheat ears, design that had graced the penny from 1909 to 1958. The Lincoln Memorial design was created by Frank Gasparo, who served as the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. This monument, located in Washington, D.C., is one of the nation's most iconic landmarks, symbolizing unity, democracy, and reverence for Lincoln's enduring legacy. The reverse also carries the inscriptions, United States of America, across the top and E pluribus unum, the Latin motto meaning, out of many, one. At the bottom, of course, sits the denomination itself, 1 cent. In 2008, the penny still retained its copper-plated zinc composition, which had been introduced in 1982 due to rising copper prices. These modern cents were composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, giving them the classic appearance of the old copper coins while keeping production costs manageable. The switch to zinc had been controversial among collectors and everyday users alike, as some felt the coins no longer had the same feel or value as their earlier counterparts. Still, the penny continued to be one of the most recognizable coins in the world, and the 2008 version remained widely distributed, but here is where the story gets interesting. While most 2008 pennies are worth only their face value and continue to pass from hand to hand unnoticed, certain rare examples have captured the imagination of the numismatic community. Errors, special mintages, and high-grade conditions can transform a simple penny into a priceless treasure. For instance, coins struck with off-center errors, doubled dies, or other striking anomalies can command enormous sums at auction. Even more valuable are pennies that remain in pristine condition, untouched by circulation and preserved in what collectors call mint state. These coins can sparkle with luster, showing off the intricate details of Lincoln's portrait and the fine lines of the Lincoln Memorial with unmatched clarity. The year 2008 is particularly special because it marked the last full year of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design. Starting in 2009, the U.S. Mint introduced a series of 4 new reverse designs to celebrate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln Cent. Each new design represented a different stage of Lincoln's life, from his humble log cabin beginnings to his presidency. As a result, the 2008 penny holds a unique place in the timeline of American coinage. It represents the end of an era, the final chapter of the Lincoln Memorial design before the cent transitioned into a new phase of history. For collectors, coins that mark transitional moments in history often become more desirable. The 2008 penny is not just another coin, it is the last in a long line that stretched from 1959 to 2008, nearly 50 years of the Lincoln Memorial design. This fact alone elevates its appeal, as it serves as both a conclusion and a bridge to something new. It is no wonder that rare specimens of this year's coin have soared in value, becoming prized possessions for numismatists and investors alike. The allure of the 2008 penny is also fueled by the mystery and rarity of its highest-grade examples. While billions of pennies were minted in 2008, only a handful survive in conditions so flawless that they appear almost as if they were struck yesterday. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, can achieve ratings like MS-67, MS-68, or even MS-69, designations that indicate near perfection. At this level, even the tiniest scratch, spot, or imperfection can mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a multimillion-dollar treasure. Collectors know that perfection in coinage is incredibly rare, and they are willing to pay astonishing sums to own such gems. Now imagine holding in your hand a coin that the average person would dismiss as pocket change, yet under the right conditions, its value skyrockets beyond comprehension. This is the magic of numismatics, the study and collection of coins. Each coin is a miniature piece of art, a fragment of history, and in some cases, a life-changing asset. Stories abound of people who discovered rare pennies in old jars, inherited them from relatives, or stumbled upon them in circulation, only to realize that what they possessed was worth a fortune. The 2008 penny is no exception, and its most valuable examples have shocked the world with their staggering prices. Collectors are drawn not only to the coin's physical beauty but also to its symbolism. Lincoln represents honesty, leadership, and the enduring struggle for freedom and equality. The Lincoln Memorial stands as a national shrine to his legacy. Owning a coin that bears these images is, in a sense, holding a piece of America itself. For many, the penny is more than just money, it is a reminder of values that transcend time. When discussing rare coins, people often wonder, what is the highest price such a coin could command? The answer lies in the stories of record-breaking sales, where seemingly ordinary coins have astonished collectors and the general public alike. Over the years, auctions have seen 2008 pennies in pristine condition sell for extraordinary sums, breaking expectations and rewriting the books on modern coin values. But among all these sales, there exists one extraordinary figure that stands above the rest, capturing headlines and leaving audiences speechless. And here comes the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal that transforms this story from fascinating to truly unbelievable. A single United States of America 1-cent coin from 2008, preserved in near-perfect condition, and bearing all the hallmarks of rarity and desirability, has reached a value of an astonishing $23 million. Yes, you heard that right. What was once a simple penny, minted by the billions and casually used for everyday transactions, has transformed into a treasure worth $23 million. This incredible figure has cemented the 2008 penny's place in the pantheon of legendary coins, elevating it from humble change to a world-class collectible. It is stories like this that remind us why coins capture the human imagination. They may be small, they may seem insignificant, but within each lies the potential for greatness. A penny is not always just a penny. Sometimes, it is history. Sometimes, it is art. And in rare and magical cases like the 2008 Lincoln cent, it is a fortune waiting to be discovered. So the next time you glance at the coins in your pocket or empty the change jar at home, remember this story. Hidden among those coins could be something far greater than you realize. Perhaps it is a link to history, perhaps it is a reminder of values that matter, or just maybe, it is a treasure worth millions. The 2008 penny has shown us that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary secrets. And who knows? The next $23 million penny might just be sitting in your hand right now.